If you're looking to start or grow a business, Powered by Lackawanna is the ultimate business tool. From lending, capital, and economic incentives to mentoring, training, and support. Log on to poweredbylackawanna.org and get started right now.
I once heard the chairman of the board of Hershey say that the three ingredients in success were hard work, and hard work. And I absolutely agree with that. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. You know, Mother Teresa says, never give up. We don't give up. We never did. And I think that's been instilled in us. That's the work ethic that my father left us. He would never not get something accomplished. In 1988, we opened up a store in West Hazleton in Valmont Plaza. And we thought we were king of the hill, and we thought, well, now we can move down into the Allentown area. Well, we picked a location in an existing store that we had remodeled, and there was a giant on both sides. They would not let us get off the ground at all. They were just giving food away to the extent that we just couldn't get started. The cost of advertising one store in a new marketplace down there, you know, with the Allentown Morning Call and all that, and some television, we just couldn't overcome that. So we in short order, closed the store. Our intent was to open about 5 stores in the Allentown area. But after the first experience, we said, we're not going to do that, and then we proceeded into the Poconos. The problem when you have a problem store, you focus most of your energy on a problem store instead of the ones that are profitable. And that's why we had to get out of it. We realized that we were running back and forth to Allentown trying to solve this problem. We said, why don't we just get out of it and refocus our energies and our resources in a different direction? And we did, and it worked well. I look back in 1977, or 76, I guess it was, we got into scanning. We were the first ones with scanning in the 2 or 3 county area. And it required an awful lot of discipline and some resources, and you always wonder, was there a payback? But that was one thing that we did that really, I think, set us apart from the other stores and made us analyze our business so we can make good business decisions with good, accurate information. And it helped us tremendously. I'm most proud of the fact that we had several employees that worked for us that went off and opened up their own stores. We tried to run our business where our employees were not just conduits. We made them managers. They had to learn how to have fiscal responsibility, learn how to run a store, compliance and all that. And it was, I think, very easy for them to go off and become entrepreneurs and start their own businesses and be successful at it because of that training. The Krasinski brothers that own 3 stores, Chris Evans that owns 4 stores, Ray Petty that owns 2 stores, the Shields that own 2 stores. These people are successful, and I feel very proud that our company provided, you know, the path to learn how to manage a business and run a business, and they're very successful at what they're doing. They're doing very well. You really have to want to lead. It's just like people that want promotions just for the money usually don't become successful at them. They have to want the challenge. They have to want the responsibility. They want to lead people. I think that's where it's at. And an entrepreneur has to be a leader in his own right. I mean, if you own the business, who's going to tell you how to, you know, what time to start, when to quit, and what to do, and how hard to work? People that have jobs where they clock in and clock out, their boss tells them what to do. So they don't have to worry about self-motivation. They're motivated by the fact that they need money to make to buy food for their family and all that, and provide housing and clothing and all that. But in your own business, you need to be self-motivated. You need to want to achieve and grow that business and just keep going for a higher level all the time. If you're a 9-to-5 guy, don't become an entrepreneur. If someone has to wake you up in the morning to go to work, don't become an entrepreneur. If you're going to watch the clock all day long and just wait till it's time to go home, don't become an entrepreneur. If you have the ambition, not only for the money, but for the challenge that business presents itself to yourself. If you want to be an achiever, I think that's why you should go in business. Money alone will not do it, because that'll wear off in short order when the commitment remains. So you really have to want to grow a business, see people advance themselves within that company. That's where I think the real driving point is. When we had the supermarkets, we had a concern that all our eggs were in one basket, and that wasn't the smartest thing to do. Of course, when you're in business like that, you're an entrepreneur, you concentrate on the business you're in, and you don't look to the outside. You figure this will last forever, but we all know that things change from time to time. So we had to come up with a plan to diversify our investments. As we got older, we found out our children didn't really want the pace of the supermarket business, so we thought that if we deployed our assets to the real estate end of the business, we could continue to grow and they'd be happier. And it was in the mid to late 80s, a contractor that had built some stores for us, Roy Piper, in fact he's since passed away. He came in to see me one day, he said, "Sandy," he says, "I got something you might be interested in." I said, "Well, what's it about?" He said, "Well," he says, "there's a couple of brothers down in the Stroudsburg area that have an option on land, and they're trying to build an outlet center, and they don't have a lot of experience, and they're young, and all that." And he said, "I told them that maybe you could help them out." I said, "In which way?" He says, "Well, they need money, they need somebody who knows what they're doing." And he introduced me to them. We saw the information they had. I was familiar with the demographic reports and the market studies because we had done them. But the problem we had was financing, because in the 80s, real estate in the Poconos had taken a dive, and there were very, very few lenders who would invest in real estate in the Poconos because they got burned several times. The other thing was an outlet center, first one in the Poconos, the national retailers would only sign 3-year leases. And how do you get a 20-year mortgage with a 3-year lease? I mean, it's difficult. But we finally did get it. We found a banker who believed in us and knew the outlet industry, liked the location, liked the pitch that we made to him, and he went along, gave us, and they stayed with us through all the 4 phases. The national retailers vote for their #1 center, and typically what they do is base it on their sales per square foot. How successful is the outlet store that they have in that center. And we had that twice in a row that we won that. So it helped us attract tenants. We never had a problem with tenants. By January of '94, I was starting to get quite bored. So I talked to my accountant. I said, "Albert, if you find some business that could use some capital, some management," I said, "you know, I'd like to get into something that would be interesting to me." And he introduced me to the president of the water company at the time. It was a small operation at that time, very small. And having been in a labor-intense business, just one look at the operation, and I knew that there was improvement that could be had here without a doubt. And I started to invest more money, buy more shares, ultimately decided that I had to run the business. And I did that, and I've been there for, I'm going on my 7th year right now. We do Walmart, we do Starbucks, we do Safeway, we do Wegmans, 7-Eleven. We have some pretty good accounts. It's a passion of mine. I enjoy it very, very much. I learned a lot about the water business because I really didn't know anything about it in the beginning. But I can do a tour now with 100% confidence that I can respond to any question that any client would have, and I love to do it. Most people that go in business, when they're looking for financing, they don't borrow enough money. They have visions of grandeur. They believe that they're going to make X number of dollars a year and pay off this loan in 2 or 3 years. And they find themselves, they make those types of financial arrangements, then they can't meet the debt service, so they get into financial problems. And that's a terrible mistake. They don't borrow enough, and they make an attempt to pay it off too soon. But I think more importantly, many start off without good legal and accounting advice. You find, they think that it's just simple, you just go in there, and pretty soon it gets complicated. They don't know about wage administration, they don't have comparative data. I recognize the need for knowledge in various areas. I joined American Management out of New York, and I just can't tell you how many conferences I went to all over the country on insurance, on taxes, on leases, on real estate, on finance. I can't tell you how many I went to. Several, probably 50 at least. And every time I would pick up something, and I wouldn't go there just to get the trip to Texas or wherever it was, I went there to learn. And I studied those at those seminars, took information back and kept going over it and over it. In addition to that, I was very much committed to listen to people like Peter Drucker, Tom Peters, Dale Carnegie, and I always had those in my car, all those tapes, and I just kept playing them over and over and over.